Hey guys, Mr. Lloyd here. Going to work with you today on Wednesday, May 6th. We'll go through these couple of pages. This first video will take you through just the page that you see on the screen. So it'll say day 3, and this is math. And so we'll work through this page here and go through these challenge problems down there at the bottom of the page. The first job for you to do here is just to finish these words. So your job is just to fill in this case, just a couple of missing letters. And the best way to do that is just to read the sentence and think about what word makes sense. Think about what we did yesterday. We were calculating the mean in a couple of problems yesterday, and so we're going to work on that same skill today. So as I read this sentence here, leveling out unequal groups of cubes is the same as using paper and pencil addition and division to find the mean. And so just missing the n there. And then another name for mean, and you're more familiar with this name, is the average. We calculate average all the time when we're thinking about your grades. It's something that we do constantly, and that's probably the most familiar to you where we use averages, but we use them a lot. If you're a fan of sports, you calculate what is your average points per game, or what is your batting average, all kinds of ways in which we use averages. So we'll get a ton of practice with this as we move forward in our math skills. Okay, so here we've just got some instructions. Again, this is just some good information for you to have. I won't reread it for you. I'll let you guys do that on your own time. Make sure you read all these instructions. Just think about it just like you'd listen to me in class. It's the same kind of concept, just typed up on a piece of paper now. Okay? The next thing I'm going to do is show you A, B, C, and D, and I'm going to show it to you on my notebook paper. And so here we are. So a couple of challenge problems. The very first challenge problem, A, I did here in black. It asked us to create a data set where our mean was 60. So it gives you basically a final result, and we have to build in the pieces to get to that result. And so you can select any data set. I've been really thinking about basketball lately, missing, basketball, NBA being canceled right now. And so I guess it's on my mind a lot. So I was listing some possible scores for basketball games. And again, my goal was to come up with a mean of 60 or an average of 60. So here are my data. Here are my scores. One game they had 58 points, then another game 71 points, and so on. I add them all up, and my sum then is 300. I had 5 individual games. So I divide 300 by 5 to get my mean or my average of 60. So that is that. Pretty simple. You can, of course, choose any kind of score or theme that you want to go with your data. It doesn't matter. It's one that you can use your imagination on, get to be a little bit creative. But again, our goal is to have an average of 60. And so we have to work backwards and select data that makes sense. Okay. Part B, the next, actually part B, C, and D are all basically explain type of problems. Part B was asking us all about what's the point basically of calculating the mean? Why is it helpful? Why do we do it? Why do we focus on it so much as teachers? And there are a lot of different ways you could answer these types of questions, but I went with the idea that finding the mean is helpful because it allows us to focus on one number instead of a whole bunch of different numbers. And actually, to explain this, since I've got my paper up here, what I mean is, if I'm looking at this data and I'm going, okay, on Monday they scored 58 points, Tuesday they scored 71 points, Wednesday 52 points, Thursday 59 points, and Friday 60 points. And if my brain, I'm like, how are they doing as a team? Are they doing well? Are they not doing well? It's hard to know when you see these numbers change so much from one day to the next. And so what we want to do is we want to level everything out by using this process of finding the mean, and that helps. 60 is a lot easier. This one number 60 is a lot easier for me to understand than all of these big varying numbers up here. So really that's what this says here in part B. It just helps us make sense with one number rather than having huge amounts of numbers. Okay, so pretty simple. And as you continue to practice, you'll see that you'll be calculating the mean sometimes for data sets that have hundreds or thousands of values that you're having to calculate, and so the one number really helps simplify and helps you make sense of what the heck's going on with all that data. Okay, so you'll see, I promise you'll be using mean a ton. All right. Part C asked us to explain why rearranging counter is similar to the fair sharing concept, which is related to the mean. And I think of it like this, that rearranging counters or cubes is similar to the process. I think of it as like sharing candy with friends. So when I was a kid and we would get candy for Halloween or other reasons, my sisters and I would get candy. We'd all go home and we would dump it out on the counter and then divide it up so everyone gets the same numbers of M&Ms and everyone gets the same number of Skittles and everyone gets the same number of Jolly Ranchers and so on. So we're giving everyone a fair amount or leveling everything out and keeping it all even. And the rearranging counters concept is just the same thing with instead of candy, you're just using like a little plastic counter or bingo chip type of thing. So same kind of concept, everyone gets a fair amount, and it's similar to calculating the mean. Okay, and then part D here, this part D asked us to talk about or discuss why calculating the mean is similar to leveling everything out. And so I kind of took the concept, we're finding the mean for 5 different days of schoolwork, and just like my problem up at the top of the page where it had all the answers or all the scores for the basketball team, instead of having 5 different scores, the mean tells you one score, but it's like each day they scored the same amount. And so that the process of finding the mean levels everything out. And it's similar, the process of finding the mean levels everything out so that in our brains we can think of all of those scores that go up and down from one day to the next as everything having a nice level amount each day. And that's just a lot easier of a concept for us to understand. So that's really just asking us to explain what the purpose is behind calculating the mean and why it's so valuable. Okay, so that's all the time I'm going to have for this video, guys. I'm going to post the next video here in just a moment. Thank you for watching. Please continue to bring your questions in through our Zoom meetings. YouTube and Google Class comments are great ways to get in touch. Text, phone calls, also great ways to get in touch. Keep them coming, and thank you for watching. I'll be talking with you later.